In the vibrant heart of the Nigerian film industry, where legends are born and stories never die, a chilling silence has suddenly taken hold. A man beloved by millions, a face that symbolized the new era of Nollywood, has vanished in the blink of an eye. How does a 40-year-old icon, seemingly at the height of his health and career, simply stop breathing? This is not a scripted tragedy or a film finale, this is the cold, hard reality of the death of Ekubo. The news broke like a thunderclap across the digital landscape, leaving fans paralyzed with disbelief. The independent newspaper Nigeria confirmed the unthinkable: Ekubo is dead. At just 40 years of age, a life so full of promise and artistic fire has been extinguished. In a nation where movie stars are treated like royalty, the loss of such a vibrant talent feels like a collective wound. As the headlines circulate, the question on everyone's lips remains the same: why did this happen now? Friends describe him as a man who carried the weight of the world with a smile that could light up a dark room. Ekubo was not just another actor, he was a bridge between the old guard of Nollywood and the fast-paced modern era of global streaming. His presence on screen was commanding, yet he possessed a vulnerability that made every Nigerian feel like they knew him personally. Today, that connection feels broken, leaving a void that seems impossible for the industry to fill. Lagos is a city that never sleeps, but today, the rhythm feels different. On the busy streets of Ikeja and the bustling corners of Surulere, people are huddled over their smartphones in stunned silence. The usual noise of the traffic is drowned out by the whispers of mourning as the news travels from one market stall to the next. It is a rare moment of collective grief, proving that the stars we watch are more than just entertainers, they are truly family. The independent newspaper Nigeria was among the first to break the definitive report, sending shockwaves through the media industry. Their detailed coverage painted a somber picture of the actor's final hours, detailing the suddenness that has left even the most seasoned journalists in tears. This was not just another tabloid rumor or a death hoax designed for clicks. This was a confirmed tragedy, verified by family sources and medical professionals who witnessed the final, desperate struggle for a life cut far too short. Behind the scenes of Nollywood productions, the atmosphere is usually electric with energy and creative chaos. But today, the cameras have stopped grinding and the directors have called a permanent cut. Empty chairs sit on dusty sets in Asaba and Lagos, serving as haunting reminders of the man who should have been there. Colleagues stand in small groups, their faces etched with the kind of sorrow that only comes when a brother is lost. The entire film industry is in total mourning. To understand the man, we must look back at the roots that grounded him before the fame. Born into a modest home in the East, he was a child who saw the world through the lens of imagination. The dusty roads of his village were his first stage, and the stories told by elders under the moonlight were his first scripts. Even then, those who knew him saw a spark that could not be contained by the borders of a small Nigerian village town. The journey to the top was never paved with gold. Like many who seek their fortune in the city of dreams, he faced years of rejection and grueling auditions. He walked the scorching streets of Lagos with nothing but a dream and a well-worn portfolio. Those early days of struggle shaped his character, giving him the grit and determination that would later define his most iconic roles. He was a survivor who fought his way into the hearts of an entire African nation. When he finally broke through, he did so with a force that was undeniable. His roles were more than just performances, they were reflections of the Nigerian experience. Whether playing a romantic lead or a tragic hero, he brought a level of authenticity that resonated across all social classes. His signature smile became a symbol of hope for many, a reminder that with hard work, a boy from the village could truly become a king of the silver screen across the continent. But beneath the glamour and the flashing lights, questions began to surface about the hidden cost of stardom. Rumors had occasionally swirled about his health, whispers of exhaustion that were often dismissed as the price of a busy schedule. In the high-stakes world of Nigerian entertainment, there is little room for weakness, and stars often hide their pain to keep the cameras rolling. Was there a warning sign that we all missed, or was this truly a bolt from the blue? The physical toll of the Nollywood grind is something rarely discussed in public. Actors often work 18-hour days in sweltering heat, fueled by passion and the pressure to deliver. The constant travel between locations and the intense emotional demands of the craft can wear down even the strongest constitution. Friends recall him giving everything to his roles, often pushing himself to the limit of his endurance. It raises a haunting question about the systemic pressures facing our most beloved creative talents today. In the creative hubs of Asaba, the news has hit especially hard. This was a man who considered every crew member a friend and every co-star a sibling. Testimonials are pouring in from makeup artists, lighting technicians, and veteran directors who all share the same sentiment: he was the kindest soul on set. The grief is visible on the faces of dark-skinned men and women who shared meals and long nights with him, now left with only bitter, painful memories. Only days before the tragedy, his social media activity showed a man who seemed full of life and future plans. His last post was a celebration of his craft, a message of gratitude to his fans that now serves as a digital epitaph. Looking back at those images, it is impossible to see the shadow of death looming so close. It serves as a stark reminder of how fragile life is, even when it appears to be at its most brilliant and successful. The final moments took place within the sterile walls of a Lagos hospital, a far cry from the vibrant sets he called home. Medical staff reportedly worked tirelessly to stabilize him, but the internal battle was one that could not be won. Outside, the humid air of the Nigerian night hung heavy with anticipation, as a small group of inner-circle friends waited for news that would never improve. When the official time of death was recorded, a tragic era finally ended. As the sun rose the following morning, fans began to gather near his residence, a sea of dark-skinned mourners dressed in black and white. They brought flowers, handwritten notes, and photographs of their favorite movie scenes. The air was filled with the low hum of prayers and the occasional outburst of weeping. It was a testament to the profound impact one man can have on the collective soul of a country, proving his influence reached far beyond the glowing cinema screen. His passing has reignited a painful conversation about the alarming frequency of young deaths in the Nigerian movie industry. Over the last few years, Nollywood has lost several of its brightest stars long before their time. People are beginning to ask if there is a deeper issue at play, ranging from the lack of comprehensive health insurance for actors to the immense spiritual and social pressures of the industry. Is this a tragic coincidence, or a sign of something fundamentally broken? Industry leaders and the Actors Guild of Nigeria have released somber statements, calling for a period of national mourning. There are growing calls for better welfare packages and mandatory health checks for those working on high-pressure film sets. The death of a 40-year-old icon has become a catalyst for a movement demanding change. They argue that the talent that brings so much joy to the world must be protected and nurtured, rather than used until there is nothing left. In the absence of clear answers, some have turned to spiritual explanations, a common occurrence in West African culture. Discussions about ancestral patterns and the heavy weight of fame dominate the local airwaves. While some focus on the medical realities, others find comfort or fear in the supernatural narratives that often surround the sudden loss of a young, successful man. This duality of belief is a core part of the Nigerian fabric, adding another layer of complexity to the tragedy. Away from the public eye, a family is shattered. Behind the celebrity persona was a son, a brother, and perhaps a father, whose loss is personal and agonizing. They have asked for privacy during this devastating time, struggling to reconcile the public mourning of a star with the private agony of losing a loved one. The man the world called a legend was, to them, simply a source of love and light whose place at the table is now forever empty. Preparations for the funeral rites are already underway, set to take place in his ancestral home. It will be a gathering of the elite and the ordinary, a final journey that reflects the broad reach of his life's work. Traditional leaders and Nollywood royalty will walk side by side to pay their last respects. The ceremonies will be a blend of modern tributes and ancient customs, honoring a man who was as comfortable in a village shrine as a city skyscraper. The news has traveled far beyond the borders of Nigeria, reaching the vast African diaspora in London, New York, and Houston. Global fans who relied on his films to stay connected to their heritage are mourning his loss as if he were their own neighbor. Tributes have appeared on international news platforms, highlighting his role in making Nollywood a global powerhouse. His death is not just a local loss, it is a moment of mourning for the entire global Black creative community. If we look back at his body of work, one particular performance stands out as a prophetic masterpiece. It was a scene where he spoke about the legacy of a man and how one is remembered after the curtains fall. Today, those words carry a weight he could never have intended. His ability to channel deep human emotion has left us with a library of moments that will be studied by future generations of African actors who dream of following him. Mortality is the one script that no one can rewrite, regardless of their fame or fortune. The death of Ekubo reminds us all that our time is a precious commodity, often shorter than we ever imagined. It challenges us to live with the same passion and dedication that he brought to every frame of his films. As the nation grapples with the why, we must also focus on the what, the incredible legacy of art and joy he left behind for us. As we close this chapter on the life of a man who gave so much of himself to the screen, we are left with his light. The screens may go dark and the cameras may stop rolling, but the performances of Ekubo will live on in the hearts of his people. In the quiet streets of Lagos and the bustling markets of Kano, his name will be spoken with reverence. Sleep well, son of the soil, for your journey is finally complete.